Right, guys, this is the question for linear graphs 2, and we're going to try and plot the graph for 3x minus 2y equals 6. So just to get you an idea, the first thing we want to do is we want to get this into the form y equals mx plus c. So that's what my first job is. Okay. Next thing we also need to do is come up with a table of values. Because in the question we're not given a table of values, we can choose what values of x we're going to use. So you can see from my table, I've decided to use the values of x from 0 to 5. But you could use any, because they're not given to you, you can choose which ones you want to use. So the first job, get it in the form y equals mx plus c. Then the second job, find our values. The third job would be to plot them on our graph. Remember, it's a linear graph, so you should get a nice straight line. So first job is to get them in the form y equals mx plus c. So we have to get y as the subject. So I'm going to plus 2y to both sides. And I'm going to minus 6 from both sides. And then, because I've got 2y, I need to divide everything by 2. So I'm going to divide everything by 2. So I get 3x over 2 minus 6 over 2 is 2 over 2. So you can see 2 over 2 is going to cancel, just to give me y, or 1y. 6 divided by 2 is going to give me 3. And then I'm going to have to leave that as a fraction. Okay, I could write this fraction as a decimal. If you prefer working the decimal, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so there's our first job. Okay, so now we need to know what are my y values for the line y equals 1.5x minus 3. Okay, so the first job is we're going to sub in some values. So if you want to use the flowchart, you can do. It's very simple. So what happens to x? We're going to times x by 1.5. And then we're going to subtract 3. And then I should get my value for y. So I can choose any value I want. So let's start with, I would either suggest we start with x as 5 or we start as x as 0. So I'm going to start with the positive numbers to start with. So 1.5 times 5 is 7.5. 7.5 take away 3. Again, if you want to use a calculator, you can use a calculator. That's absolutely fine. So that would give us 4.5. Then we're going to use x as 4. So 1.5 times 4 is 6. 6 minus 3 gives me 3. And you should start seeing a pattern here. So 3 times 1.5 is 4.5. 4.5 take away 3 is 1.5. So you can see, hopefully, that they're going down in 1.5s. So that should be 0. That should be negative 1.5. And that should be negative 3. Again, we know that because the linear graph is going down by the same amount. Okay, so now I've got my table of values. I want to plot them on the graph. So again, my graph hasn't got any values or scale. So I'm going to see, I'm going up to 5. So I've decided to use the scale of 1 on my x-axis, which I'm going to put on now. And because my y values go down to 4.5 to minus 3, again, I'm going to go 1, 2. I'm going to go up in 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Okay, try and use a scale bigger than you need, so you've got plenty of space to plot your coordinates. Next job, I'm just going to plot them, and then I should get a nice straight line. So 5, 4.5 would be there, 4, 3 would be there, 3, 1.5. Again, remember, you're looking for a nice straight line because it's a linear line. And then 0 minus 3 is there. So again, you should get a nice straight line. So I'm going to draw it with my ruler all the way along. Okay, and that's how you're going to do it. Hope that helped.